Have you ever felt so desperate that all you could do was cry out to God? Today, let us talk about a woman whose desperate prayer not only changed her life but also the course of an entire nation. Her name is Hannah, and her story from the Old Testament is one of incredible faith, perseverance, and the power of a mother's love. Hannah lived in a time when a woman's worth was often measured by her ability to have children, and Hannah was barren. To make matters worse, her husband's other wife, Peninnah, had many children and constantly tormented Hannah, making her life miserable. Year after year, during their annual trip to the sanctuary at Shiloh, Hannah would weep and be unable to eat, her heart completely broken. One year, Hannah reached her breaking point. She went to the temple by herself and poured out her soul to the Lord. She wasn't just saying a polite prayer, she was weeping bitterly, her shoulders shaking, her lips moving but no sound coming out. She made a vow, promising God that if he would give her a son, she would dedicate him back to the Lord's service for his entire life. Eli, the high priest, saw her and misunderstood, thinking she was drunk. But Hannah explained, "I am a woman deeply troubled. I have been pouring out my soul before the Lord." Seeing her sincerity, Eli blessed her, saying, "Go in peace, and may the God of Israel grant your petition." Hannah left with a renewed spirit. She was no longer downcast. And just as she had prayed, God remembered her. She conceived and gave birth to a son, and she named him Samuel, which means heard by God. True to her vow, once Samuel was weaned, Hannah brought him to the temple and presented him to Eli. Can you imagine the strength it took to give up the child she had longed for so desperately? But Hannah did it with a heart full of praise. Her prayer of thanksgiving, recorded in 1 Samuel chapter 2, is one of the most beautiful poems in the Bible, celebrating God's power to lift up the lowly and humble the proud. Hannah's son, Samuel, grew up to become one of Israel's greatest prophets and judges. He anointed the nation's first two kings, Saul and David, and guided the people back to God. An entire nation was transformed, all starting with one woman's desperate, faithful prayer. Hannah's story teaches us that God hears our deepest cries, even when we feel misunderstood or forgotten. It shows us that even in our darkest moments, a heartfelt prayer can change everything. Thanks for watching. If this story encouraged you, please like and subscribe for more. See you next time.